Going over to question 16 now. Here we have a difficult looking expression, and the question is talking about the factors. So how can we start factoring this thing? And what you need to know right now is that you have some priorities. When you're factoring, you should always look for a GCF, a greatest common factor, as the first thing you do. So here, what is the greatest common factor between these three terms? All three of these are divisible by 2x. And if you factor that out, it would leave you with x squared plus 21x plus 104. Now, to factor this piece further, well, this is a BC quadratic because it's got only the invisible number 1 in the A spot, but it does have numbers in the B and C spots. And for BC factoring, you need two numbers that add to B and multiply to C. So our numbers need to add to 21 and multiply to 104. So having them multiply to a bigger number like that is maybe a little scary sometimes. But what I always tell students is the amount of time it takes to sit there and say, wow, this looks tough, is pretty much the same amount of time it takes to just go ahead and jump right in. So we can divide 104 by everything it can divide by. Divided by 1, divided by 2, divided by 3 or 4. Let's check the calculator. So it does divide by 4. It doesn't divide by 5, 6, or 7 evenly, but it does divide by 8. 8 by 13. So there we have it. What two numbers add to 21 and multiply to 104? 8 and 13 do. So this can further factor to 2x, x plus 8, x plus 13. And so now we have our factors in that x plus b format that we were hearing about in the beginning. A lot of people will get this question wrong because they'll want to say the answers are -8 and -13 because we're so used to getting the factors with the parentheses, setting them equal to 0 and flipping it over to get the opposite sign. But here, that's not what they're saying. Here, the question is simply saying, when you get to the end of this, you'll have something in this format. And what is the smallest of the numbers that are going to show up in this spot? And clearly the smallest number is 8 there. And so that is our answer.